Okay, now we are talking about the Best Actor Academy Awards for 2024, and I have with me Kevin from the Real for Real podcast. How you doing, Kevin?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for doing it. Yeah. So we have here are the nominees. Well, first, who won Best Actor last year? It was my God.
Oh, who was
It was
that last year?
Oppenheimer. It was
Oh, yeah.
Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. See, these things matter. They linger forever.
I was thinking about that in Killers of the Flower Moon. I was like, wait, no, it's Cillian Murphy. Okay.
Yeah. DiCaprio didn't get nominated. He was snubbed.
That's crazy.
Well, I loved him in that movie. I love an evil dumb guy, which he plays in that movie.
He was getting manipulated the whole time.
Yes. He's so good at just playing a dumb person who is being manipulated the whole time and has no idea.
And he thought he was smart too, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about the most dumb person is convinced of their brilliance. Speaking of which, first nominee, The Apprentice with Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. We have The Brutalist, Adrien Brody, A Complete Unknown, Timothée Chalamet, Conclave, Ralph Fiennes, and Sing Sing, Colman, Domingo. Well, let's start with The Apprentice, and then I want to talk about A Complete Unknown, because The Apprentice is the most recent movie I watched, and I was actually finding some parallels with A Complete Unknown, because I was thinking these are both really hard asks of these actors, because you have to play a super famous person who it's very easy to parody. They both have kind of cartoonish voices, but they're also famously people who it's like, you kind of feel like it's very difficult to know who they truly are or what they truly are about for kind of different ways. I think that Sebastian Stan with the Apprentice, that's like, it's really an impossible ask. How do you play Donald Trump? How do you play a cartoon character and try to make him seem like a human being? But even more than that, how do you play somebody who I think is pretty uncomplicated? Like what you see is pretty much exactly what you get. And that's even how the movie ends, with him interviewing Tony Schwartz, the book author, being like, so what's your deal? And he's like, I like deals. And it's like, there's nothing else. And like, that's it. What did you think of The Apprentice, the movie?
So overall, I thought it was pretty good. On Letterboxd, I gave it about a 3.5 out of 5. I think Sebastian Stan took on a pretty big task here, man. I think that he really embodied Trump. Now, the thing about The Apprentice is what I was thinking about is kind of who's the audience? You know what I mean? Like, who exactly is this movie for, right? Yeah. I mean, it comes out at an interesting time and where we're at right now. And I guess I really, really like the first act of the movie. Even I'd say for the second act, but the third act for me, it gets to be Easter eggs of what we kind of know about him and what what he's famous for.
That's the perfect way to put it. I was like, really, they had to throw in the line about how exercise, the body is like a battery. Like, okay. You're so right.
The third act was kind of, I was like, all right, it's kind of losing its steam for me. But overall, I mean, the performance he definitely deserved to be nominated for sure.
I agree that the first half is a lot stronger. It has just that like 70s and 80s energy. And like he successfully gets, I mean, you know, when he's going up to the, New York City Council to get tax breaks for his building at the expense of basically social services, like we can either build this skyscraper or pay for people to like have essential services. You, the viewer, at least me, I was like, yeah, let him build his building. So like, how did the movie get me on his side? It did in a way. But you're so right about like not knowing who the audience is for this, because like, one, we've had 8 years of telling the story of Trump and Roy Cohn. And it also seems like an odd moment in time to make this movie that seems like maybe you'd make this movie 20 years from now. But in a way, that's what makes it interesting. Like it'll be interesting to look back and see like, this is what we thought right at this point in history.
Because I think the director, he did a pretty good job of kind of showing the insecurity in a young Trump and kind of how captured and mesmerized he was by power from Roy. So I did like that about it. It was like, you really get to see how Roy kind of programmed him and trained him into becoming this just tough guy.
Yeah. And the easy, like, pop psychology people do about Donald Trump is like, well, yeah, his dad didn't love him, and that's what explains everything. And I think the movie definitely thinks that, and definitely shows in Roy Cohn he had a new father who both would help him with whatever he needed, but also literally stands up to Trump's own father in the scene of his wedding, like in a small way, but is like, hey, you should be really proud of your son. And his dad kind of blows him off.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, which I didn't know that was Martin Donovan as Fred Trump, just just playing the devil.
Out after.
Me too. I was, where's Martin Donovan? Oh, that's him. But yeah, ultimately, it's kind of. I brought up A Complete Unknown as a comparison because you're like, well, what is there to say about this man at this point? That he pursues power as its own end or pursues accumulation as its own end. Yeah, that's it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are going to people are going to kind of have a tough time with this because you're going to have a lot of liberals that want this movie to be even harder than what it is and making Trump look bad. And you're going to have some people that say he's humanized too much. Then you're going to say people are, slamming him and it's biased. So it's going to kind of be all over the place. I do like Trump's reaction to this.
Oh, yeah.
I know he hates the movie.
Oh, of course. Oh, but also, he's seen it 10 times probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, you still like to see yourself on screen. Stop it. But yeah, he called it a politically disgusting hatchet job. I'm like, I mean, this is what we knew though.
Right. I don't know. I'd be kind of flattered. In terms of humanizing him, I think, hey, I hate Trump. I fucking hate Trump, but he is a human being, and it is important to try to understand the psychology of people and understand that, there's, he's not the devil. He is a person who represents forces at work in the world, and if he wasn't there, somebody else would be. It's not he just materialized as the devil. So I certainly in terms of humanizing him, I think that's actually a good thing. We need to understand people, and we need to understand the most destructive people are not, I'm rambling.
No, I feel you though. Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk about A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. And, this movie was directed by James Mangold, who had already done Walk the Line. And when I saw the trailer for this movie, the trailer for the movie makes it look like I said, it was like a parody of musical biopics. It's like another one of these. Yeah. I think the movie itself is quite different. It kind of swerves away from the tropes of the genre. And Chalamet, I think, is pretty great. He also has that impossible task of how do you play a super famous person without seeming like you're making fun of him. And get people to understand that you're playing a real person. So what'd you think of this movie and this performance?
I really liked it, man. I think that this movie is flawed, but what makes it more unique is that they're leaning more on the music and letting the music kind of speak. And I like that about it. I think it's Timothée Chalamet's best performance personally. And I think that, if the Oscar went that way, I wouldn't be mad because to me, musical biopics kind of can be Oscar baitish, depending on what it is. But I mean, the guy is singing up to 40 songs. He's playing the harmonica. He's playing the guitar. He's doing everything you would ask of this performance. And I feel like if Rami Malek can get it for Freddie Mercury, I feel like I wouldn't be mad if he got it for this because it's performance-wise, he's doing everything he's supposed to do.
Rami Malek, who was not actually singing, in contrast to Chalamet, who is not only singing and playing the instruments, but doing it live on set. It's not like he pre-recorded everything in a studio. He's actually doing that on set, and the audio you're hearing in the movie is the audio they captured on the set.
It was impressive, man. Yeah. It was impressive. I think his performance is what makes the movie better. Because, like I said, it's not the greatest thing ever, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's formulaic either. There's something that's a little bit more fresh here, and I think it's leaning in on Dylan and the music and kind of how he would come up with something on the spot. Like, I'm watching the news, let me start writing my song now. like really capturing that.
I think that it's obviously a great performance. It's the movie that finally made me admit that I like Timothée Chalamet, because I've been a Chalamet skeptic for years. I've talked about it on the podcast. It's because he makes me feel old. He looks like he looks like a little person, a little boy to me, but he's probably 30 years old. And I was like, oh, big deal. You're playing guitar for yourself. I play guitar. Bob Dylan's easy to play, but he's doing a good job. And hey, I've never been able to learn harmonica. It's really hard for me for some reason.
It's tough. I hear it's tough.
But I think that James Mangold as a director really, really is the key to this movie working, because he brings you on stage to feel how thrilling it can be to perform music live.
Oh man, for sure.
All the concert sequences, they're filmed from the stage. You hardly ever see them from the audience. So, because the whole point is to try to get to feel him and how he feels, and how he feels kind of stifled by performing for folk music crowds, who are all just like sitting very quietly and politely in their chairs. And he yearns to do something different.
I know we're talking about best actor, but how did you feel about Edward Norton and Monica Barbaro? Do you felt both of them were?
I really loved Edward Norton. This is one of my favorite Edward Norton performances. An actor I'm not crazy about, but I think that he plays Pete Seeger is like so warm and so sympathetic, but ultimately you kind of feel like kind of naive and like time is passing you by. And
he's the old head that can't move on.
Exactly. Yes. Can't move on, but also seems a little delusional about what like music is capable of doing. He's like, we're on the precipice of changing the world. And my opinion is like, I don't think music is going to change the world, no matter what it is. Whether it's folk, whether it's rock, whether it's any genre. It's, you seem like somebody who's like a big person in this little movement and doesn't want someone else to take it over or change it. He plays that. So, but he's able to maintain your sympathy the entire time while also making you understand that he's a little naive and that there's a sadness to him. Did you like him?
I thought he was good, man. I mean, I don't think he's going to win Best Supporting Actor. I think a lot of people dislike him.
Dislike this performance or dislike him personally, you're saying?
Just personally. I feel like personal reasons are going to get in the way of a lot of stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah, he's like one of the famous Hollywood assholes.
So I don't know. But I mean, Timothée did great, man. I would not be mad if it went that way. I mean, it's commendable.
Yeah. But we get to the end of this movie and I feel like the movie's stance on him is like, this is kind of an unknowable guy who doesn't even know himself, or like what motivates him beyond like just musical genius and a need to express yourself. But what do you have to say? And I think he in the movie is showing like, even he doesn't know. He doesn't even know where this all comes from. So that's why I contrast it to Donald Trump, where it's like, we know exactly what it is that motivates you.
Greed and capitalism, man.
And a bad father. Okay.
Yeah, bad father. Yep.
Let's talk about The Brutalist and Adrien Brody. What do you think?
Mid-tier. I mean, it's pretty middle of the road movie. Look, I know that's, hot take or whatever. My thing is, look, Adrien Brody did good. I don't like the re-speecher that they use for that AI software to, kind of beef up the Hungarian dialogue. I feel like that's unnecessary.
Yeah. So just to explain what this was the sound engineer on the movie who speaks Hungarian fed his own voice when he speaks Hungarian into like an audio treatment program that uses machine learning, and he applied it to Adrien Brody and to Felicity Jones for the scenes where they speak Hungarian, basically to make them sound more like they're actually speaking Hungarian, which, I'm not crazy about that either.
Unnecessary.
Right. It's acting. You just act like you're speaking Hungarian. And guess what? We would never notice.
What? I mean, my thing is, and I know they're not going to go against him for it or tally anything off, but it's like, that's the art of acting.
Right.
Like, don't sit up here and start tweaking that kind of stuff. This is not CGI we're talking about and all this other stuff. We're talking about the accent, the dialect. No, leave it as what it is. That's part of the art form. That's why when we listen to Bram Stoker's Dracula, we can laugh at Keanu Reeves accent. Like we can like it's part of acting. Like just leave it alone. And I know for a fact that those accents and the way they sounded were fine. Like like to us, it would have just sounded normal.
It's an
Like,
interesting point. Yeah, we are like, as in movies, like moving, the more technology advances, you see this in all kinds of ways. Like, hey, we want things to be as quote unquote realistic as possible. We want it to approximate real life as much as possible. But this isn't real life. This is a movie. So why does it have to sound like authentic Hungarian? I understand if you're the sound guy and you yourself speak Hungarian, you take it more personally. But yeah, it's acting. Use your voice. And we the audience, can do the work of understanding that you're not a native Hungarian speaker, but you're trying your best.
And I'll tell you this. So I went into this movie blind, right? I didn't know what I was getting into. I just knew it was Adrien Brody. That's it, right? Like I knew it was going to be post-war Europe. So Laszlo Toth, this name, I'm over here thinking that this is going to be a real story because there's a real Laszlo Toth, but he's a geologist. So like the first 45 minutes of this movie to an hour, I'm like, wait a second, this is not what am I watching?
When's he going to get to the geology?
Then I'm just like, oh, this isn't the Laszlo Toth I'm thinking of. So I'm just like, that's already like, why did we use that name? This is a fictional story, mind you. Like these are like the kind of little problems I have with it. The movie is 3 hours and 35 minutes. Like 3 hours and 35 minutes for a fictional movie like this. Nasty work. They could have cut 30 minutes out of this movie. I'm sorry. They could have cut 30 minutes out of this movie and it would have been fine. It would have been, there were pacing issues throughout it. But overall, like it's a solid story. But then we get Guy Pearce pulling off this essay scene that was so left field that I just was like, please, like, what are we doing? For shock value. I thought that was silly.
I don't think that it's for shock value. I mean, I think that this is
it's power. It's showing his power.
Exactly. Yes.
But I was like, but I just thought that was I don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it. Like, mind you, okay, let's put it to you like this. Sing Sing is a prison film. No essay scenes in it.
Yeah.
Just letting the screenplay and performances speak for itself. This film didn't need that.
So I love this movie and like all the things that you're complaining about. I'm like, but that's good. I love that it's so long. I want to.
Well, as soon as I said mid-tier, I saw your reaction. I do that.
This is and I get that this has a very specific tone that it's going for, and for whatever reason, I just hooked right into it and was like, yes, I love this. I've said this on whenever I've talked about this. The movie to think of when you think of this movie is There Will Be Blood or The Master, which are also very long stories about very odd people, very odd, obsessive people. And like those movies, this movie is secretly very funny. And this is kind of a very funny guy. Like this guy's an asshole. And he has his reasons to be. He survived the Holocaust. Although you can even sense like he was like a tormented genius even before the Holocaust. I think it is a very interesting like testament to creativity and why we create things at all. What drives us to do that, and the sorts of compromises we need to make, including befriending the devil basically in Guy Pearce. And I love Guy Pearce. I love Guy Pearce in this movie.
I think he's got a strong chance of winning.
Yeah. So everything about this movie worked for me. The intermission, the length, the cinematography, the sound. Well, the music. Good. I'm not. I really was disappointed to learn the thing about the audio treatment, which seems so unnecessary. And I think Adrien Brody is incredible. I couldn't believe it. I kind of felt like he's a bit of a has-been. And then to do this,
you know, I feel like this is going to be there's going to be a strong The Brutalist industrial complex. Because look, I feel like people want the Pianist feeling again, and I feel like this is about to sweep up. This is going to get 3 or 4.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think so. I don't know, but I feel like the campaign's going to be strong, man. I mean, people just really love it, and I think it's a pretty solid. I gave it 3.5. I think it's a pretty solid film. I think it's a little bit longer.
To be honest, I can't get a sense of like where things are right now with what's gonna win or what's the favorite, because it was Amelia Perez for a long time, and now it seems like that's gone away.
God, I hate that movie.
Is it? Well, yes, it's dreadful. So glad we don't have to talk about it in this category. I feel like Anora had a lot of momentum. A Complete Unknown feels like it might have some momentum, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Wicked won. If at the end of the day they're just like, and it's Wicked.
Oh, Best Picture? Oh man.
Yeah, Best Picture, you know, the entire Academy votes on it, and there's like this weird like scoring system where you can get a certain number of second place and third place votes.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
That's an interesting system. Yeah.
So let's talk about Conclave and Ralph Fiennes as Mr. Conclave, I believe his name is.
Oh man.
What do you think of this movie?
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I like everything about it. I've seen a lot of people say this is like Succession on the Pope version.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it, man. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I got Sing Sing as my personal favorite, and it's right behind it. But just the way Ralph Fiennes plays Cardinal Lawrence, like with this quiet intensity and kind of softening of his voice and internalizing his grief and his doubts, that entire process and looking for a new pope was just incredible, man.
While having like, he eventually reveals like he would like to be pope. He even has his pope name picked out. And so he has to very carefully play. If he wants to win, he has to make it seem like he does not want to win, because the story of the movie is that they've convened the College of Cardinals, and he's the cardinal who is like leading he's basically the administrator of the election, but he could win. People could vote for him. And every time they hold a vote, people are like, why are people voting for him? It's kind of weird, isn't it? And the vote tallies change, but he also, so I think Fiennes does a great job of having to play both the secret ambition while also really caring about all this and trying to manage all the different factions and egos and ideas of what the church is and where the church should go. And I am just a sucker for a political intrigue movie. I give them all to me. I'll watch them all. I love it.
Same here, man. Same here. I ate this up, man. I like my cinema like this sometimes. Like, you know, I don't always need the big MCU huge action blockbuster. Give me some solid storytelling with some zippy pacing, and we're good, man. Yeah, I think
I'll watch as many Pope movies as you can throw at me. I never need to see a Marvel movie again. I would see the PCU, the Pope Cinematic Universe, if you give it to me.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about Ralph Fiennes is that, you know, you'll see the struggle with him is I think people take his performance for granted.
Yeah.
Just because, like, when you think about The English Patient, Schindler's List, The Menu, list goes on, he hasn't won anything before. So, like, one thing I was thinking about is a possible like makeup call for his career.
Absolutely.
So that's something I was thinking about.
I think you're thinking. I think that's the right way to think. So many of the awards can be explained like that, where it's like this is because you didn't win for Schindler's List or you didn't win for. Well, he wouldn't have won for The English Patient. I'd have nominated him for the menu. I love him. I love him in The Menu.
Everything he's in, I like him.
Grand Budapest. That's the one that he might be my winner for that year. I'd have to look at the nominees again, but that's my favorite role of his. So let's talk about Sing Sing and Colman Domingo. And you said this is one of your top movies of the year.
Yeah, I love Sing Sing, man. I hate what happened here with A24. A24 just had too many movies. I think.
What happened with it?
Just lack of marketing, basically. So basically what they try to do is they try to do a slow rollout, right? And so they did limited showings. And so everybody was like, hey, I want to go see Sing Sing. Oh, wait, it's not playing in my city yet.
Yeah.
And then the way I saw it was, you know, it was playing in 2 movie theaters in the entire city of Houston. And they had 3 times for both. I was like, wow. So I got to get here now.
Yeah.
So that's how I saw it, you know, and I just happened to be looking like, when's it coming out? And I just happened to find it that day. Like, all right, let me go. But no, it was terrible the way they rolled this out.
Yeah, they only thought of it as an awards, because I think this is kind of quietly a crowd pleasing movie. Like, I think this would be a lot of fun to see in a theater with people. I saw it, at home on streaming, but I thought like, hey, I'd like to see this in a theater. I'd also like to see the play that they put on in a theater. Can somebody just adapt that into a movie? I'd like to see the Rescuing the Mummy's Curse or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, A24 did a re-release for January, but even then it's like people that are actively checking for it are going to go see it in January. But you have a lot of casuals that are just going to, oh, it came out again? Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So it just sucked. I mean, and A24 has had a great year, but it's just like, geez, man, you could have done that. If this is Oscar buzz, you could have done it more justice. So
yeah, because it premiered at one of the festivals in 2023. And then did H24 do Nickel Boys? I can't remember.
They did not do Nickel Boys though.
Oh, okay. Because that movie I saw was shot in 2022, which is that is a long delay.
That's who did Nickel Boys though? It wasn't A24, but oh man, I thought Nickel Boys was incredible though.
Yes, it's one of my very top ones. Who released Nickel Boys? We got to find this out. Yeah, Amazon MGM.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Really enjoyed that. It's I mean, really just tough movie, man. Extremely well shot, art house for sure. Yeah, it's good. I haven't read the book, but I hear it's an excellent adaptation. A lot of people saying it's one of their favorite adaptations. So yeah,
I haven't read that book either. I've read Colson Whitehead's Underground Railroad and his. He has a zombie apocalypse novel that I really love called Zone 1, which I don't think most people have heard of. So check out Zone 1, everybody. Very fun novel about zombies.
Nice.
If you like, from the guy who wrote Nickel Boys and Underground Railroad. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, what? That's wow.
So, okay, Sing Sing. The story, Colman Domingo is one of the main professional actors in the movie, alongside lots of, non-professional actors, many of whom are portraying themselves in this story about this program at Sing Sing Prison in New York, Rehabilitation Through the Arts. And it's a theater company, and they put on a play every 6 months. And Colman Domingo is... sort of the unofficial leader of this group. He's a playwright and considers himself like a serious actor. And this new guy, Divine G. Sorry, no, he plays Divine G, and Divine I is the newcomer who seems like maybe he's going to be usurping his position. But that makes it sound a little more like standard than what it is. This is a really lovely movie. And I think that what's so special about it is, one, that it's shot on film. It looks great, sort of documentary style. And you just get to see all these real people and their real faces. And like, you look at Colman Domingo and you're like, I know I've seen you in things for 10 years. Everybody else, you're like, yeah, that's a real person right there. You don't look like an actor. But this guy, Divine I, Clarence Macklin, Divine I was watching this guy and I was like, you're the star. You're the star of this movie. And if he wants to continue acting, like, I could see it. He's a movie star.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
He's so captivating. Yeah, whenever he's on screen. And Colman Domingo is great, and he's always great. And I think he needs to show you as a theater actor, which Domingo is in real life. How do you show that like he's really great, but maybe he's great in sort of a technical way, like he can deliver the speeches with gravitas, but is there something else there? And this is it's dark, pretty dark material, but it's a pretty fun movie that I think everybody needs to check out.
I agree.
What do you think about his performance? Like, do you think this is a deserved nomination?
Yeah, I mean, I think he deserves it, honestly, because I think a lot of people are going to look at this and it's going to be a little underrated. And I think because it's a bit more subdued and it really has to do with the pacing of the movie, so his performance. And, I think people are used to watching Colman kind of being hammy, giving a hammy performance, like what you see with Rustin and The Color Purple. So hopefully this is examined pretty closely by the Academy and they can look at it and see like, nah, this is pretty top tier. Because I think what's interesting about this movie is I feel like a lot of the other films are a little bit more larger scale, and this one kind of feels personal, kind of smaller. So I don't know. and plus the marketing was just interesting. So I don't know. I don't know if people are going to overlook this or what, but I'm telling you, this guy is, yeah.
It is a small story, but what the movie does so well is make you feel how important it is to them, and then you feel like there's nothing more important in the world than putting on this show. And like you have a podcast with your friends, you do creative things with your friends. I'm sure you feel like you've been in that situation where you're like, well, I have an idea, and maybe the other guys don't share my idea, and you feel like sort of protective of it. And the movie puts you in there with, people with inmates who are very tough men, but you're like, oh, I feel exactly what you're feeling. I have felt that way myself. And I was kind of expecting something like Rustin, but this is a lot more subdued. So I'm impressed that they nominated him, because they usually don't go for something so kind of understated.
That's just how powerful it was, man. It was subdued, but you could see through the emotion and the tears and everything he was doing. Like when the lady was asking him, are you acting right now? And his face changes.
Yeah. Oh, and the way he then like has to be like, well, actually, like, that's not really what acting is. It's not about faking. And I was like, I was like screaming in my mind. I was like, how the injustice of this.
Yeah, man. It's his performance just gives the beauty to the life of arts, man. No matter your circumstance, if you're in prison or whatever, there's a beauty and a passion for it.
If whether you're performing for people or no one ever sees it, the point is to create is to do creative things as their own end, which is what the whole point of the program is. And this movie was written by the director Greg Cuidar and his producing partner Clint Bentley, but also story by the real people Divine G and Divine I. And so it's just a lovely story. I've watched a bunch of interviews of the real people, like on talk shows and stuff, and I kind of suspect it might win the screenplay Oscar, just because people want to see them get up on stage and accept the awards, and that would be awesome.
For sure. Because I was thinking about the screenplay here or either Conclave. I really just see it being between those two for screenplay. But yeah, man. One thing I appreciated too is you could tell how personal this felt for Colman. Felt very personal, because he's an executive producer on here as well, I believe.
Yeah, and he talked about like playing like within all these unprofessional actors, basically doing what his character in the movie does, of being like a mentor and a shepherd for all these people who are good actors but have never acted on film in a professional setting. And
these guys all got paid the same salary. You know that?
Yes, I did. And not only that, but they all have equity in the movie, so they all own an equal percentage of the movie, which rules. Which is so that's even more reason why A24 should have done a marketing blitz, put more money in all of their pockets.
I'm saying.
So hopefully the Oscars will get more attention to this movie. I think it will.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, let's hear what your prediction is for who's going to win this category.
I think Adrien Brody's going to win.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to win.
Adrien Brody's going to win, and Kevin will shake his fist in anger at home.
That's just what it is, man. I mean, hey, the campaign's strong, man. I get it. It's a good performance, but
he's already won. That's boring.
That's what they want to see.
So who do you think should win?
I think Colman should get it.
Okay.
Seriously. I strongly believe so.
Okay. Is there anybody that you think should have been nominated who wasn't?
I don't think there was anybody else that should have been No, I don't think so. I think who were you thinking? Give me a name.
Yes, I have. I think from Nickel Boys, Brandon Wilson, who plays Turner. Now you might say this is a supporting performance. Yes. I think it's he's the co-lead of the movie, and it's such a unique screen presence and such a unique character. And he would get one of the nominations here. Man, I know I had one other. Damn it. Who was it? Who was I thinking?
That's a good pick, though. I love Nickel Boys, man. While you're thinking of that, I will say, if it's not Colman, it needs to be Timothee.
If that's my prediction is Timothee's going to win. It feels like it's his time. But I think that I
also think that he's too young.
Sometimes they just go ahead and give it to you, like with Brie Larson or Emma Stone or
they did.
Jennifer Lawrence. They're like, yeah, it's, you're young, but hey, welcome to Hollywood, kid.
Yeah. Poor Things. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
No, she won for La La Land first all the way back.
Oh, that was twice. Yeah.
In 2016.
You know how rare that is? Like, that's, man.
I know. I might do Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. I might. And then
I like Kieran better than in there.
I do too,
Okay.
but I like both of them. And Kieran is the showier performance. And then make fun of me all you want. I'm going to say Josh Hartnett and Trap.
Say what?
Josh Hartnett and Trap. That's right.
I like Josh though. Trap is a hot ass mess.
That is the kind of performance that would never in a billion years get nominated. Okay, Kevin. Let's just real quick get your pick for what do you think is going to win Best Picture, and I can read you the nominees if you'd like.
The Brutalist is going to win.
Oh, okay. All right, fine.
It's going to be The Brutalist, Adrien and Brody, man.
Clean sweep.
Yep.
What's your top movie of 2024?
So based off of what's actually nominated.
No. Of all movies.
Oh, it's Sing Sing.
Okay. Love it.
Might have Sing Sing.
All right. Which was not nominated for Best Picture. And Emilia Perez was. Come on.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. That musical was terrible. I don't know. I didn't like the songs or anything. I didn't like it, man.
No.
It's just bad.
Here's the thing. A musical should be fun. The musical sequences should be fun. And
didn't it feel like a parody to you the entire time?
Yes, it feels like they're making fun of, I don't know what they're making fun of, but it feels like they're making fun of me. Like, hey, asshole, you're watching this. And I'm like, I don't want to be. You did get
Gotcha.
me. Okay, Kevin, from The Real for Real, everybody check out The Real for Real wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. And we also have links in the description where you can follow Kevin and The Real for Real on social media. So thank you so much, Kevin.
Appreciate you. Thank you.